Its energy surrounds us and binds us.
What is up, nerds of the internet, and welcome back to the Carbonite Convos Podcast. If this is your first time joining us, you've just taken your first step into a larger world. And if this is not your first episode, thank you for coming back. And what are you still doing watching us? We have a lot in store for you today. We're kind of getting away from this theme for the past 5 years, it seems like, where we only talk about Spider-Man No Way Home. So we're going to go in a different direction today. But I am joined, like always, by Mr. Wallcrawler Pops himself. Alec, we ready to talk about, something else for a change?
Yeah, we say that now. Odds are we mentioned something about Spider-Man No Way Home at some point in the next, hour or however long we record the night. So, guys, sorry, we can't break out of it too much.
We're talking about Multiverse of Madness. So, I mean, Spider-Man's obviously going to come up in that right scenario. So,
right. Well, obviously, Doctor Strange is a huge character in that, but we'll dive into that here. But before we do that, guys, make sure you like and subscribe. Guys, we really appreciate the support. I'm really excited to talk about Multiverse of Madness. It's getting closer and closer every day. It's going to be here before we know it. There's so much to go in. This movie's going to be so complex, and with these leaks and rumors and everything that are coming out right now, dude, this is going to be set up to be huge.
Oh, of course.
It's been confirmed that there's going to be. It's been confirmed that. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I know what you were going to say. You're going to say it's confirmed that there will be more characters than Endgame. What I was going to say based on that is there might be more characters, but the hype for Endgame and Spider-Man No Way Home just isn't there for this one. Like, believe me, I am super excited. And I think this movie is going to really set up how the MCU will move forward. I think this is arguably one of the biggest, well, I don't think arguably is even a thought. Like, this is one of the biggest movies of Phase 4. Obviously, Spider-Man No Way Home will go down as the biggest movie of Phase 4 and probably the next, as this saga. Endgame was the Infinity Saga, and now No Way Home will most likely be the next saga. The next saga is the best movie, but Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness is going to be so much different because Spider-Man could have been a standalone. It's kind of in its own little world. We have characters from Doctor Strange, but Spider-Man's in its own little world, and it's about to be, with Sony and Marvel, the deal between them. But Multiverse of Madness, I think, connects to the MCU as a whole much, much deeper because we have a lot more MCU characters, hopefully non-MCU characters as well. And we'll get into that. But I don't know. I just think it's a lot different. The hype isn't the same, but I think this is arguably just as big, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So a couple things. One, I completely agree with you. Like, odds are Spider-Man's going to be the best phase of this, or I'm sorry, the best movie of this phase. However, Doctor Strange, just like you said, is, to me, not even really going to be considered a Doctor Strange movie. Obviously, we say that now, but once we see the movie, it might be a little bit different. But it's kind of like how Civil War is for Captain America movie. Like, yes, it's a Captain America movie, but like, it's bigger than that. It's about the Avengers and how they have their falling out. But that's how Multiverse of Madness is going to be. It's not going to be about Doctor Strange. It's not going to be about him, or he's obviously going to be a big part of it. But like, this is about opening of other universes, characters colliding, and just exponential growth of the MCU. And there's literally so many limitless options. Like, I don't even really know where to start talking about it. There's so many different things you can grab and hold on to a conversation about it for a while. But man, these rumors of leaked characters that are being put out on social media and stuff, obviously we have no idea if they're true, where they came from. Someone could have just like went on Microsoft Word and typed up a document of, hey, this guy's going to be in it. He's going to play this guy, and we believe him or not, whatever. But the
still
amount of people that they're talking about bringing into this movie, with it being confirmed around how many characters there's going to be, man, like, we're about to see some really cool stuff.
I think one of the ones that I want to talk about first is John Krasinski playing Mr. Fantastic. And I heard some interesting stuff that it's a pretty heavy rumor that he's going to be in this movie, but the main reason why he's not going to be playing the true Mr. Fantastic is because he doesn't want to commit to a giant contract, which is what Marvel's known for. He doesn't want to be stuck in a big contract. So my guess, and what I've seen a lot on the internet from pretty good sources, is that he's playing a variant of Mr. Fantastic, and it might not be a one-off movie. This might not be the only time we see him, but Kevin Feige is really known for giving fans what they ask for. And this has been Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic, and Reed Richards has been fan casted for years now. And
forever.
Yeah, Feige's going to give the fans what they want. So if they can't get John Krasinski as the main Mr. Fantastic, where they're going to make a Mr. Fantastic trilogy and they're going to fight Doctor Doom in the end and team up with Spider-Man, all this stuff, not saying that all that is going to happen, but if they can't do that, I think variants in the multiverse and time travel, all this good stuff, is Marvel's excuse to do things like that, and I think that's really cool.
I wonder if John Krasinski's role is going to be not as Mr. Fantastic, but as Reed Richards, where we see him in like a civilian-esque situation, like obviously like being a doctor, or maybe just walking down the street. Maybe he's buying the Baxter building. There's so many options, like as far as like what he could be doing. He may not necessarily be playing the superhero. Maybe he doesn't have powers at all, but he's obviously very heavily rumored to be in this. So there's no telling what it could be. Yeah,
no, for sure. And there's just this laundry list of characters that are confirmed, debunked, rumored. So that's what we're going to get into now. I don't even know where to start other than John Krasinski, but he's on this list. So I say we just go down. We don't have to talk about every name because this is a gigantic list, but it's definitely something that we should talk about.
Well, starting off, we have the confirmed characters. Obviously, they've been in the trailer. We have 2 Doctor Stranges. Obviously, Wanda's going to be in it. Wong. There could be multiple variants of Wong. We don't know.
Let me ask you a quick question. Quick question. When you're reading this list, are you looking at the cast or the characters down below?
So I'm like, for instance, what I'm looking at, confirmed Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange 199999. Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange, evil variant of Unknown Reality. Benedict
Really?
Wong
Dude, we're not looking at the same list. Marvelmovies.fandom, right?
Nope. Marvel Cinematic Universe.fandom.com.
Okay, well they're both fandom.
Send me the one you're looking at.
Yeah, here you go. I think it's generally the same list. And I'm gonna pull up yours too, and we can kind of compare the two as well. But obviously, they both start the same. We're getting Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange and as Dr. Stephen Strange. Well, it says will return as Stephen Strange / Dr. Stephen Strange. So I guess there's a difference.
Oh, I like this one better.
Yeah, see this.
Okay.
Yeah, the one I was reading, it's I don't know. There's just a lot more to talk about. So it starts. You can continue.
So confirmed characters so far. We'll just start there. Obviously, we have Benedict Cumberbatch is going to be coming back as the Doctor Strange from what we consider our universe, as well as another evil variant we're thinking is from the What If universe. We obviously don't know what that is yet, but there's a reason we were introduced to him in What If, so I can only imagine he's from that.
Going off of that, we have the leaked pictures of Defender Strange. So you wonder, is that yet another Doctor Strange, or is that our Doctor Strange in a new getup? And before we get on with the list, I'd love to talk about this theory about this art piece from Marvel about the Multiverse of Madness. So give me 1 second, I'll get it pulled up. Yeah, if you can just edit this out too.
Yeah.
Give me 1 sec. All right. So about the multiverse, this piece of art about the Multiverse of Madness. And Alec will include it for you on the screen really quick. So we have this art piece, and we can see 2 different Wandas and 3 different Doctor Stranges. Now it's interesting to see because the one it's been rumored that we might get 2 different Wandas. And up until this point, we've only really debated there being 2 Doctor Stranges. And we talked about this a little bit. I already think that we are introduced to another Doctor Strange. I think the Doctor Strange in Spider-Man No Way Home, at least for a little bit, was not the Doctor Strange we're used to. But this picture, as you guys can see, there's 3 different Doctor Stranges, which leads you to believe, are there going to be 3 Doctor Stranges in this universe? In this movie, and 2 different Wandas. It just doesn't make too much sense to have an art piece like this when splitting up the characters when there wouldn't really be a need to split up the characters unless there's different versions of them.
What's the art from?
It was Marvel.
Marvel. Gotcha.
Marvel Studios. And I will text it to you right now just so you could take a look. I'm sure you've seen it.
Probably.
But yeah, man, I think we're going to see at least 3 Doctor Stranges in this movie, which I'm not a super huge fan of the multiple characters, except if it's Spider-Man. He's he's an exception, but we're definitely going to get Doctor Strange, corrupted Doctor Strange from What If, and then this Defender Strange that's going around. I'm not a fan of the 2 Wandas thing. I can get on board for 3 Stranges, but 2 Wandas is...
Well, it's interesting because like with Wanda specifically, like she's a fan favorite right now, and anything involving her, people are going to go nuts about. So I'm curious if they didn't want to put her in too much of a villainous situation. Obviously, what it seems like so far is that
I know what you're going to say.
Strange is set up to be the villain, and that if there's it looks like in the trailer they're setting Wanda up to be a villain. I'm sorry,
R.I.P.
A villain. I know, and I don't see why they wouldn't have villain Strange from a different universe recruit villain Wanda from a different universe and say, hey, let's team up and go destroy this other universe. And
I guess, I didn't really think of it like that because she, like you said, she's a fan favorite. And let's say, she's one of the craziest and baddest villains in the comics. That's very well known. But because we've seen this character's journey from pretty much from the start now, we've seen her as a little kid. We know why she is who she is. So it's going to be sad to see one of your favorite heroes become a villain. So like you said, I think you made a really good point where if they still want to keep people loving Wanda and keep you happy where you're like, okay, great. My favorite character isn't a villain. This is your excuse to have 2, where one is that Scarlet Witch from the comics, who's just pure evil, works with Mephisto, all this stuff. And then having the MCU Wanda that we've known and have grown with,
Absolutely. No. So I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah, I think that'd be really cool. So
easily swayed.
Absolutely. So let's just keep going down this list. Obviously, we're gonna have Wong. He will be back as Sorcerer Supreme. Odds are, if we're gonna see a couple of Doctor Stranges and a couple Wandas, we might see a couple different Wongs. So you never know with that. Rachel McAdams is back as Christine Palmer.
You've skipped a really big one on the list.
Did I?
I apologize.
America Chavez.
Yes, America Chavez is in the movie.
Chavez. I am very excited about her as well.
She has a lot of multiversal power as well. It's just it's interesting because her portals aren't circles, they're stars, but she can do more like multiversal portals, if that makes sense.
Interesting. Yeah.
So that's going to be, and she's a pretty recent character too. Like in the comics, she hasn't been around for too long. So it's cool. And it goes off of our conversation from a couple weeks ago, how someone said the MCU will end. And it's like, no, it won't. Like eventually they will run out of characters that they have at this point in time in 2022. But tomorrow we could get a new Marvel comic line of podcast boy who gets microphone powers where he can scream really loud. We can get that character, and then he can be in Marvel movies in the future. So sorry to go off on a little tangent, but I just think, the MCU is not going to end. So it's cool to see a fresh character getting introduced to the MCU so soon.
Here's another cool one. So Bruce Campbell, so he must be a friend of Sam Raimi of some sort. He is confirmed to play some sort of character in this movie. He was in Spider-Man 2 and 3. He was a maitre d' in Spider-Man 3 and an usher in Spider-Man 2.
He was also in Spider-Man 1. He was
he?
the ring announcer. He gave him Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah.
He gave Spidey the name Spider-Man.
So they have to be friends of some sort.
Oh, for sure. That's one of those like Stan Lee style cameos where it's something new each.
Yeah.
But it's like you think of it, the fact that he's going to be a Multiverse of Madness, it could be one of those characters. And because we know what we know now about those movies, he could be a variant in Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3. It's crazy.
You never know.
When we got Spider-Man No Way Home, I know we promised, but we are over promising and under delivering on the no Spidey talk. When we got Spider-Man No Way Home, we didn't just get one new MCU movie. We got 6.
Right.
We got 5. We got 6 Spider-Man movies coming into the MCU. So it's going to be cool to see what character he plays.
Yeah, man.
Did you mention Mordo?
Yeah, so that was going to be next. So Mordo is going to be back as well. I think so.
Because it has mine as Bruce Campbell's after Mordo.
It is. I just
wanted to make sure. You're good.
So Mordo is, we don't know, is he going to be a villain? He obviously looks really different. He looks cool. The dreads look good on him.
I think what's cool. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I think what's cool about Mordo is they set him up to be a villain after Doctor Strange, but Mordo, he's one of those.
He didn't seem to be like a bad person. He just very much disagreed with what was happening.
Yes, he just is doing what he thinks is right, and he doesn't think that dark magic should be.
However, if that exact sentence, he's doing what he thinks is right. Every conversation we've had about who's the best villain, who's the most evil, we always say they're still doing what they thought was right. Thanos thought he was doing what was right. If Mordo's doing what he thought was right, obviously in some light he's going to be considered a villain. He's going to do some things that go against Strange, so I think he's going to be a villain in the movie.
Exactly. But what you have to also look at is, how do I put this? I can't remember exactly what I was going to say, but what's interesting about Mordo is that yes, they set him up to be a villain moving forward, but there's different types of villains. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. So it could be this type of thing where our Doctor Strange, who has dabbled in the dark mystic arts, the dark side, has dabbled in it, and Mordo might not agree with that. But let's say this other Doctor Strange and evil Wanda come in, Mordo's going to have to team up with them because there's no way in hell that he wants all these multiversal characters in. I can't imagine he's a big fan of the multiverse breaking.
Right. No, I'm with you, man. Hold on 1 second. I'm just looking at this real quick. I'm sorry. Who were you talking about just now?
Mordo.
Okay, Mordo. Yeah.
For everybody listening, Alec zones out all the time.
I did zone out.
And he doesn't listen to me.
I did zone out. My bad.
I don't know if he doesn't listen. Anyways, or I talk too much.
No, Mordo can't be a fan of the multiverse open because it literally, just like you said, goes against everything he believes in. Like it, it has to be some of the darkest magic out there. Wong says it in Spider-Man. We know dangerously little about. Or was that Doctor Strange who said that? Doctor Strange said that.
That was Doctor Strange.
To Peter, he said, "We know." He said something like, "We know
terrifyingly little
amount." Thank you. That's what it was.
Yeah, man, it'll be dope. Let's get to this next person on the list. I think this is a big one.
Yeah, so we have both Loki variants from the Loki show. I'm assuming from the Loki show.
Yeah, it says,
are confirmed to be in this. So Sophia DiMartino and Tom Hiddleston.
Sorry,
right. That's what makes me think that it's from the show because it says reprising her role. However, there's still a chance that they're from a different universe just because
but
it says reprising, they're still playing that role, but that could still technically be a different variant.
it could be. You're right. It could be. But if I had to go with my
I'm
best
sure
bet, I
it's-
would put that it's the same. So we're getting Sylvie and Loki, which is freaking awesome. We got confirmed that Loki, or it was heavily rumored a long time ago and it got confirmed recently, but like Loki and Sylvie coming in is going to be really interesting. And it says the TVA is going to be in the movie. It's going to be super interesting because you look at where we left off. Loki is in a different universe than the one where he's in a different TVA. Sylvie is
who knows where.
Yeah, she killed He Who Remains, and we don't see where she goes. And the TVA is, I don't know, one is in shambles, the other one seems to be running pretty cohesively still. So
right,
it's going to be super interesting. And going off of that, this might be another chance to see our boy Mobius. Sorry.
I know, man. I'm honestly
Spidey
still so disappointed he never got his jet ski, man. That's some BS.
No, I know. Hopefully he will.
Get this man a jet ski. He's a simple man. He wants one thing. Just get the man a jet ski.
That'd be like a good post-credit scene, kind of like the Hawkeye one, where it has nothing to do with the story, but it's just Mobius on his jet ski. He finally gets one. Him on his little Sea-Doo. So Loki and Sylvie being in this is definitely going to spice it up a lot. And it could, from what I'm reading, it's rumored that it could be multiple different Lokis. And I guess we can say that about like everything
everything at this point. So here's
a couple of these. Go ahead.
Yeah. So here's a cool one. So, Adam, is it Hugh Gill, whatever it is confirmed to play Rintross. So after looking at that, he's like this big green ox looking thing. I don't know if he's like of some sort of mythology or not, but he's super interesting. Yeah, so I don't really know a lot about the character, but that's really cool. Michael Stolbarg is set to play Nicodemus West. So I don't know much about the character at all. I'm sorry, you know who that is? He was in the first Doctor Strange. He was Doctor Strange's like rival surgeon in the hospital.
Oh, Nick?
The one he kind of like, didn't he say like, he was the one that like, announced the guy dead, and then Doctor Strange comes in and like
you're the one who
him.
called the wrong time of death.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that'll be interesting. What if
so
he's the guy that because we see Christine at a wedding. What if she's marrying him?
Oh, that's very realistic.
That'll be
nuts. I like that take.
That'll be nuts. All right, we already talked about Tom Hiddleston. Another big one, Julian Hillard and Jet Klein reprising their role as Billy and Tommy from WandaVision. That will be super interesting to see.
From what I've heard about that so far is that they are in fact variants, that they are not the same ones from WandaVision.
Really?
That's just what I've heard, just through like social media and stuff. Obviously, like take it with a grain of salt, but they were never real. So who knows how they become real?
That is true. They were, and it begs the question, like, who was she hearing? Who was Wanda hearing at the very of the post-credit scene of WandaVision?
Right.
So we have Gargantos. I never really learned, who is an enemy of Doctor Strange in America Chavez. Apparently, he is after America Chavez to use her powers to have complete control over the multiverse. So it sounds like clearly he's going to be one of the villains. He's the octopus-looking thing. Now, what kind of made me a little sad was when we saw the trailer, I thought that octopus was that monster was Hydra. I thought that was the same one from What If,
but it's not.
No, I know that I feel like an idiot too, because I said it on a podcast too, because I hadn't done too much research yet, and I was just like, I think that's the octopus from What If. But it'll be still really interesting to see the octopus. It's going to be interesting to see the Funko Pop that comes out of that too.
Dude, literally, who knows what that's going to look like? There's going to be one.
Oh yeah, but dude, I haven't even thought about collecting pops for
Oh my God.
dude.
For a character with 30 for a movie with like 30 something characters in it.
Gosh, yeah, this is really where we're gonna have to dial in and focus on what we
pick
want
and
to
choose on.
exactly.
Especially with the increase in price on Funkos, man.
I know that's where you
It's
got to
whatever.
find deals. Hopefully, like the market will get back to normal a little more moving forward.
Yeah.
All right. So
So
one
keep
of
going
my
down this
favorite
list.
ones, Haley
Yes.
Atwell. My baby.
Back
Don't
as
tell my girl.
Captain Carter.
Captain Carter, man. I cannot wait to see her.
Hey, this is the test and see if your girlfriend actually listens to the pod or not.
I know she doesn't, but she knows that Haley's on my list. I love her as Captain Carter. I love her as Agent Carter and Peggy Carter. Everything. I just think she plays this role incredibly, and
No, she crushes
it's
it.
really cool to see that she's worthy of having Captain America's mantle. You know,
Right.
So
Yep.
seeing her live action with a brand new shield, that's gonna be so dope. If they come
Yes,
out
it
with a
is.
Marvel Legends shield, am I getting
You might
that?
have to cop.
What do you think?
I don't know. What do you think? Maybe. I think that'd
don't
be
know.
cool.
Maybe. I'm gonna get. I already have one of her Funko Pops, so I got to get the other one, and I'm gonna do a rearrange of my cap section very, very soon. So everybody, check out a video for that. But yeah, that's gonna be super interesting to see her reprise that role as Captain Carter. Going off of the characters from What If. So it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, man. And so the last person on this list confirmed so far is Paul Bettany will be coming back as Vision.
All right, so let's fly through this some debunked. Jared Leto, whatever, will not play Morbius, and he won't play Nightmare. There's a lot of Nightmare, Death, Madam Mask, a variant of Christine Palmer, Sebastian Stan as Winter Soldier, Black Bolt, Magneto. Oh wait, not Black Bolt or Magneto. They are not in this. So those are all the debunked characters. It would have been cool to see Winter Soldier, but it's like where does he fit in? It
Right.
seems like that's on the list because someone made a rumor like, yo, what if we get Winter Soldier in this? And then it swirls around on the internet and someone has to debunk it. So this giant list that there's no way we're going to be able to make it through.
Well, before we get into it, dude, what we have to consider here is this list is every X-Men movie, Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, the old Blade movie, anything that it has existed, Daredevil, anything that's existed Marvel related in the last 20-ish years or so.
Yeah.
Deadpool's on this list, like all this. So I think it's, in my personal opinion, before we get into it, I think it's likely that we get some of the X-Men. Especially with the frequent acquisition of Fox by Disney. It's a huge opportunity for them to do this. My personal opinion, I think we're going to maybe get 2 or 3 X-Men, Wolverine, maybe a Storm, and maybe like a, what's her name? I'm sorry. Like a Dark Phoenix or something along those lines. Maybe 3 or 4 characters. Professor X, Charles Xavier, I think is a likely one as well. But
there's a couple different ones too.
Exactly.
Well, there's a couple different actors that play him. Technically, they are the same Professor X, just at a different point in time.
A different point in time. I think it's likely to be Patrick Stewart. It's just my personal opinion. I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
No, for sure. He's the younger one, right?
No, he's the one that was on like Star Trek and stuff.
Wait, Patrick Stewart played it.
Patrick Stewart, yeah.
How many are we talking about? Magneto or?
We're talking about Professor
X. I'm sorry. I was thinking of.
I think Ian McKellen.
Yeah, I was thinking Ian McKellen. We're good. I had a brain fart. Who would you rather see as Magneto, Ian McKellen or the newer one? That's in.
If we see Patrick Stewart, I'd rather see Ian McKellen.
Yeah. Because they're both from the same,
right?
Like time. It's all the same timeline, but they're, the ones that were in the same movies together. Right. Down here in the rumored thing, it says Bruce Campbell, the guy from the Spider-Man movies, will play an alternate Nick Fury from a different universe. That'd be super interesting.
Ooh, interesting.
Because in the comics, I know that Nick Fury is African-American in the MCU, but in the comics, he was, at least in one line, he was white. So
Right.
It doesn't go against it. This could be the one from
No.
the comic. I don't know which specific comic line it was.
I feel like if we're gonna get any of the Fantastic Four characters, we would get the different. We would probably get the different Johnny Storms. So Michael B. Jordan and potentially Chris Evans.
Bro, did you see that Chris Evans said he would be interested in returning as Human Torch?
I like that. I like that he also mentioned Cap in that statement. He goes, as much as I'd love to continue Cap's story or something along those lines, I think his story has come to an end, and he basically went out in a very prestigious way. So he would never want to open that back up to not end in the proper way. But he would still like to be involved with the MCU, and Johnny Storm is a perfect opportunity to, man.
It's just severely different characters. So it's going to be interesting going back to see him play someone so arrogant, you know?
You know, it's wild. I know we've talked about this before, but imagine if we're in the theater and this portal opens up and he walks out and it's Chris Evans. You're like, oh my God. And he says, flame on. And he just, and you're like, you're a little bit disappointed, but at the same time, you're like, oh my God, this is awesome.
Yeah. I feel like they would have to throw in, if he's in it, I don't know how this would happen. And I don't know. I hope that I'll be able to explain it correctly. If he's in any future Marvel movie as Johnny Storm, I think that they would have to acknowledge him as Cap too. Like maybe do like a special effect with some stars or so. I don't know how I'm explaining it.
It'd be perfect. So this is obviously set in New York, right?
Yeah.
And it's probably not too long after Hawkeye and Spider-Man. So odds are Rogers the Musical is still on Broadway at the time of this movie. So imagine if it's just like he enters the universe and he's walking down the street. Chris Evans is walking down the street and he looks up at the Rogers the Musical signs and gives it some sort of like, that's stupid. And then just like blows it up with fire.
Yo, that'd be funny. And dude, and what if as well, we saw a timeline where Steve Rogers is president.
Yeah.
So that'd be cool.
That would be cool.
I don't know, dude. There's a lot. Going back to the list, I think one of the big ones that sticks out is a very likely rumor that Simu Liu will reprise his role as Shang-Chi, which will be dope. And if he's in it, I assume that Awkwafina will play Katie.
And Xialing will be in it in some way as well.
Exactly. But I don't know. I don't know if she will be because she's kind of off doing her own thing. And Shang-Chi and Katie have now, they're Avengers now. So they're with Wong. They went with Wong. They met with Banner. So I don't know. I think that is a possibility. What if we see, what's his name? Hulk's Abomination. We saw him working with Wong. Dude, I think, again, Multiverse of Madness is going to set the stage for where phase 4 and phase 5 is going. I think we're going to see a big hint at maybe who the big bads are, who we have to watch out for, the characters that we want to learn so much more about. I think this is a good stepping stone for sure. Anybody else stick out on the list? I know they do, but
so I'm just reading through this. So two things that stick out to me is that supposedly Keanu Reeves will have some sort of role in this movie, which obviously has been said for years now. Who knows if that's true? And Giancarlo Esposito is supposed to have some role as well.
He'd have to be a villain.
He has to be a villain. Dude, can we talk about him for just a sec? He is so slept on, bro. He's awesome.
Oh, I know.
Like, he is a good villain. He was in Breaking Bad. He's in the new Far Cry game as like a dictator. He's obviously Moff Gideon, and he crushes that role. Dude, he's a great villain.
We're going to see Mandalorian next week. How about that?
Wow.
I know, right? We're going to see
Isn't
Mando.
that wild?
I can't wait. That would be a really good one.
So the only other ones that really, what's up?
Sorry, go ahead.
The other one that sticks out to me huge is that we supposedly might be getting a different Iron Man variant as well. Who was that supposed to be played by? Not Ben Affleck, but
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise, thank you.
How
Ben
do you
Affleck
feel about
supposedly, Ben Affleck's Daredevil supposedly might be in this
I
as
saw
well.
that.
So
I
that would
saw
be cool.
someone saying the fact that we're going to see Ben Affleck as Daredevil again before we see him as Batman just shows how Marvel Studios just run so much better than Warner Brothers.
Literally.
In general, how do you feel about seeing Iron Man and Captain America variants?
It's kind of bittersweet.
It is. I think I'd rather move on to their predecessors and stuff like that, like Falcon as Captain America and like Iron Lad, all these other different characters. But what made me ask that is, well, you saying Iron Man, and I see John Krasinski, rumor, playing Captain America from a different universe. I think he'd be dope as Captain America. Don't get me wrong. And I'd have to get the Funko Pop, of course.
Oh my God.
But it'd just be, what if I put like,
what if you took make a custom and took a Cap body and Jim from The Office?
I know. I was saying, what if they did? Dang, you took my line. I was gonna say, what if they didn't make it and I just took matters into my own hands?
Yeah, you could, man. Yeah.
All right, Monica Rambeau, played by Tiana Harris. That'd be dope. Monica. Did you get the reference?
No.
Oh my goodness. All right, we'll talk about it off air. It was a really, really funny tweet. Jimmy Woo. Monica.
Jimmy Woo. I don't remember that.
All right, we'll talk. It's pretty funny.
In WandaVision?
Yes, we'll talk later. Jennifer Lawrence. And these are where the Marvel X-Men characters come in. Well, let's go back to Monica Rambeau, because Captain Marvel's later on. I feel like this list is every single Marvel character that has ever been in Marvel in any Marvel capacity. It's
yes.
So the names we're talking about now, take them with the smallest grain of salt you've ever seen, but it was still worth talking about, theorizing how they would fit in.
Yeah, man.
What about this? Benedict Cumberbatch will play the Necromancer.
I'm assuming that would be a Doctor Strange variant of some sort.
I don't know who. Yeah. And again, we need to freshen up on these characters because it's been so long since I've read stuff about them that, it does look like, excuse me. It does look like Doctor Strange, Stephen Strange of Counter Earth. That's right.
Okay. So, here's a cool one. So there is a rumor that J.K. Simmons might be reprising his role as J. Jonah Jameson, which could be very, very likely, because all it takes is one flash of going through Times Square and he's on the billboard talking about whatever.
Yeah.
Spider-Man is a menace.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, the thing is we have J.K. Simmons playing two different J. Jonah Jamesons. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
who knows which one it could be.
I'd love if he is in it, and if they could make some sort of reference to when he made the Doctor Strange comment in the first Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
Just some sort of quick, oh, that's the Doctor Strange or whatever.
What if, ponder the question, but what if one of these Doctor Stranges is from the Sam Raimi Spider-Man universe? Because we've already been confirmed for 20 years now that Doctor Strange is a character in the Raimi universe. What if one of these is that Doctor Strange that he was talking about? It could be Defender Strange. It could even be this twisted Doctor Strange too.
Yeah, it could be. And honestly, if we're talking about, what was his name?
Brian.
Yeah, Brian.
Was it Perkins?
What was his name here?
Bruce Campbell.
Bruce Campbell, not even close.
Yeah,
Bruce Campbell.
He's in it. So
he's in all three Spider-Man movies. So maybe that could be a thing where he's been kind of hiding and watching Spider-Man throughout the years, and he could be that Doctor Strange. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know that he would be that Doctor Strange, but I don't know. You could be right. What I meant more of is one of the Doctor Stranges played by Benedict Cumberbatch. I'm not suggesting that Bruce Campbell is playing Doctor Strange, but what if either Defender Strange or Corrupted Strange? What if one of them is actually from Sam Raimi's Spider-Man universe?
Right. Easily could be, man.
All right. We have Sophie Turner reprising her role as Jean Grey. That'd be interesting. I think what you also have to watch for is you can't introduce too much power, because you already have, if Wanda, Doctor Strange, you bring in
Captain
Professor X,
Marvel
Magneto, Captain Marvel, all these characters.
Thor.
There's got to be some type of balance. How dope would it be? I don't know. What if we saw Party Thor?
We could, man. There's literally no end to the options of what we can see here, man.
I know. Catherine Hahn as Agatha. Finn Jones as Iron Fist. That'd be cool, even though it's cut.
There's a chance we see Toby and Andrew again in this as well.
I know, it's very possible. It's very possible.
With especially with the rumors of the reshoots for Morbius, to include Andrew Garfield. And with there being plenty of time before Multiverse of Madness comes out for them to finish up, they easily could have added them to the movie, man.
Well, I wouldn't say plenty, because this Doctor Strange comes out, what is it, May 20th?
Something like that.
May 20th. And now this, May 4th. Wow. Comes out Star Wars Day. That's strange.
Nice.
So it comes out on May 4th. I literally did not mean any pun by that, so that is kind of funny. That comes out May 4th. Morbius comes out in April. So you look up Morbius release date. When is that now? April 1st. So you got a month in between the two. Who knows if they'll relate, but I don't know. We'll see. Mads Mikkelsen as Caecilius. I don't think he'll be in it unless it's a different one, but he's dead. He's joined the one,
right?
Dormammu. Tilda Swinton as the Ancient One. I think that's possible, coming from What If. Let's check. I think we're getting to the end. Scarlett Johansson as Natasha or Black Widow. Aaron Taylor Johnson as Pietro Quicksilver. Michael B. Jordan as.
Do you think there's
what's up?
Do you think there's
Evan
a chance
Peters?
we see Bruce Banner?
Oh,
Evan Peters too.
I don't know. I think we could. I think this movie, there's room for anybody.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be, but it's going to be really interesting to go back to this list after the movie comes out and see who was in it.
Right.
Speaking
of Bruce Banner real quick, I saw a really interesting theory today about Bruce Banner. And if you go back and look at the spell that Doctor Strange cast about everyone forgetting who Peter Parker is, there's a chance that there could be two people out there that didn't forget about Peter. One of them being Vision, because he's an android. Okay. Yeah. Two being the Hulk.
Well,
it happens. This exact thing happens in a comic line where the world forgets that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, except the Hulk, because him and Peter are together, and he looks over and says, "Hey, Peter," and he looks at Hulk and says, "How'd you know my name's Peter?" He goes, "Everyone forgot. Bruce forgot, but I'm not. I'm above people, or I'm above that. How that works. So he's technically not a person." So words are very specific when it comes to magic. So maybe in some capacity, he still knows that he's Spider-Man.
No, I think you're super right. Well, I think you make a super good point. It's also did he know Peter Parker was Spider-Man?
I don't know.
No, because the spell is the world will forget. Is it the world will forget Peter Parker? Or they'll forget Peter Parker it's the world will forget Peter Parker.
That Peter Parker will forget that Peter Parker is Spider-Man.
No, because if that's the case, then MJ and Ned would still know Peter, and they don't know him anymore. So the world has forgotten who it's lit. Doctor Strange said it. It will literally be like you never existed.
Yeah, no, that's
you think, okay. I wonder if they forget that any Peter Parker is Spider-Man, because MJ knows that a different two other Peter Parkers are Spider-Man. So I wonder if she forgot about them being Spider-Man as well, or if Peter Parker in our universe is just every Peter Parker is gone.
I have no idea,
Yeah,
man.
there's
Like,
no way you can answer that.
That's such a deep question because there's a good chance it could be either way.
I know, right?
We have no idea. No idea.
It's nuts. It is nuts. So we're getting this in May. Skip ahead a month and a half, and we're getting Thor, Love and Thunder. So what I'm excited for is, I don't think Thor, Love and Thunder is going to be as serious as No Way Home and Multiverse of Madness, because Multiverse of Madness, we already know it's going to be dark. It's going to be dark. Spider-Man No Way Home. Yes. No Way Home tore my heart into a million pieces multiple times. And I'm looking forward to just a nice, awesome, lighthearted movie again, where hopefully I don't cry in the theater. Yeah. And I don't have, I don't have nightmares of Doctor Strange after Multiverse of Madness, because that's going to be a freaky movie. I think there's going to be a lot of freaky stuff in that movie that we're not used to in the MCU. So I'm excited for Thor. And honestly, what I'm excited for as well is just getting a superhero movie. I don't know when it will be, with one hero, because you look back at Iron Man,
who Captain knows? America,
it's like there's got to
happen again.
Yeah, because you think of the Marvels, it's like you're getting Monica Rambeau and Captain Marvel. When are we going to get a movie of of just a few characters? Even so,
who knows? Phase 5?
Yeah, possibly.
The Moon Knight series, dude. Speaking of that, how good did that trailer look?
That is awesome,
dude. That looks actually insane.
He is gonna play such a good Moon Knight. That I cannot wait for that.
Yes,
that's gonna be so much fun. And we will be up every night, 3 a.m. to watch it.
Yep, come back here. Make sure you check out those reactions and those reviews.
Yes, sir. Have you seen this? Zac Efron as Human Torch?
No.
I think that's a great fan cast, to be honest with you.
I like it. No, and here's another good one right with it that goes right along with it is Dwayne Johnson. Dwayne Johnson as the Thing.
As
Dwayne Johnson as the Thing.
Yo, that would be
sick.
Awesome.
That'd be great. Because the thing about the Thing is he's funny, and The Rock is funny. Like,
yeah,
he's very witty and says some stuff like that. So I'd like that.
No, 100%. 100%. How about Ray Park as an alternate Iron Fist?
I don't understand Iron Fist castings because
I'm just more thinking of Darth Maul,
Well, obviously because Darth Maul, but people have problems with Iron Fist casting because he's supposed to be of Asian descent.
Oh, really?
And a lot of times he's casted as like a white guy. And I mean, I don't blame people for being like, that's kind of weird. Like,
yeah. Because
very accurate.
You take, yes, there are plenty of Asian characters, but not nearly as many white. There's not nearly as many Asian characters as they are white. So it's like, don't take that away from, that culture,
exactly.
So I get that 100%.
Yeah.
I also saw some rumors. I heard this from the Den of Nerds, which they've had pretty reliable sources. Well, they got it from their reliable sources. Well, sorry. They saw it from another channel, and that channel has very reliable sources, that we are going to get Dr. Doom, and it's not going to be Victor. It will be Dr. Doom. I can't remember if it was Multiverse. No, I think it was in Wakanda Forever. We'll see Dr. Doom.
That's interesting that you say that because I'm reading right here that Meryl Streep is supposedly going to be casted as Cynthia Von Doom.
Huh.
So
that's an old, like she's pretty old.
I mean, he wouldn't be young.
No, not young, but yeah, no, you're right. But there were also talking about how Namor, that'll be, Dr. Doom pulling the strings with Namor's battle with Wakanda, which I can't wait for that. It's going to be super sad again, but can't wait for him.
I
for
love that
it.
this one was real because then we technically would have had an MCU character on the show as well. Emily Swallow is supposed to play Mysteria.
That'd be dope. That'd be really
Yeah,
cool. Go check
yeah.
out our Emily Swallow interview
Yep, we interviewed
from
her
like a
about
year
playing the
ago.
armor in The Mandalorian. That was really cool.
Yes, sir. So we can go on and on through this list because we're not even
Yeah,
scratching
we
the
haven't even
surface
touched the surface of,
on
of
it,
this.
but
So
it's literally every Marvel character.
mhm.
But either way, this movie is going to crack open the multiverse even more, even though it kind of seems like it's closed, but we know that it's not.
Oh, dude, this door is just barely cracked open, man. Like
Yeah.
I can only imagine when it is fully open, just how confusing this thing's gonna get, man.
Oh, I
Just
know.
so many moving parts.
I know.
Oh my God.
What do you think? Should we I know we had some things to talk about for Book of Boba Fett that we didn't get to in
Yeah.
our review.
Yeah, let's
So
go. Let's
thank
go.
you for
Let's get
listening
it.
to the Multiverse of Madness chat. But let's talk about some Book of Boba. Obviously, we did a reaction. We did our immediate review right after. But, after taking some time to stew on it, we just had some things that we wanted to talk about. And obviously, if you haven't seen the episode, you shouldn't watch any further because we are going to have spoilers. But the biggest thing is that we're getting Din Djarin next week. I think it will be next week.
You think so?
Yeah.
Dude, I was talking to my girlfriend about this last night, and she's seen The Mandalorian. She hasn't seen Boba. We'll probably watch it at some point. But I was like, babe, they set up Mando and Boba, and she's like, really? And I'm like, yeah. She goes, well, what happened? I said, well, they had this conversation, and the music played, and she's like, well, that who knows what that means, yada. I'm like, all right, let me play this for you. And she watched it, and she's like, holy shit, Mando's coming to Boba Fett. And I
No,
was
I
like,
know.
yes, I
It was
told, like,
never
there's
in
no way
question.
around. Oh, it was never a question at all. It was just really cool, like talking to her about it, and her being like, oh, okay. And then she's like, I guess. And then I played it for her. She goes, oh yeah, there's no way that he's not, like,
Yeah.
this has to be a thing. And you really think it's gonna be that soon?
Yeah. Because I think that everything's going down now. There's only 3 episodes left. And I don't think we're going to get jam-packed full of cameos in 1 or 2 episodes. I think they need to kind of build that out.
Yeah. I could see next
yeah.
week the majority of the episode being them going to find Din, and then at the end it being a thing where he walks in and it's like, Din Djarin, we need your help, and he looks over, you son of a bitch, I'm in.
I know but I think of that, it's like, this is Boba Fett's story, so I don't want them to spend too much time looking for Din. What I am interested, this was kind of my theory, is Boba Fett. My theory with Boba Fett and Din Djarin, aka the Mandalorian, moving forward is we are getting Mando in Book of Boba Fett. I do think that we will get Boba Fett in the Mandalorian season 3 as well, because I think the way that their relationship is going to go is Boba Fett is trying to rule Tatooine for the most part, not step on people's toes in other territories, but he is creating a family there and he needs Din's help. Din has a lot on his plate because technically he is the ruler of Mandalore. And we see Bo-Katan, she wants to bring Mandalore back to its former glory, which we don't know if there's going to be some animosity between her and Din or how that's going to look. But at some point, they both want the same thing. Like Mandalore, if Din is the ruler of Mandalore, he'll want to see it come back to its greatness and learn about his past as well, where he came from, where his tribe came from. So they're trying to restore Mandalore to its former greatness. Boba is trying to restore Tatooine to its former, Tatooine, because he can't call it fantastic. Apparently there was a huge ocean on it, but we didn't notice it. They're both trying to do relatively the same thing. So it would kind of be easy for them to help each other because they are two of the biggest badasses in the Star Wars galaxy. We've already seen what they can do together teamed up. So that's how I think they're going to come in together, is that they're both trying to achieve the same goal on different fronts and they can help each other get there.
I like that. And that take actually makes me think of this. And I love these shows, specifically the Star Wars shows, to be kind of how like obviously kind of how the MCU is, but kind of how like the DC shows are, like the Flash, Arrow, Supergirl, how they all kind of exist, not in like kind of in their own little universe. They're obviously a part of the bigger picture, but like they're focused on their own thing,
Yeah.
and they all integrate into each other. So like you watch seasons 1 through 3 of Arrow, and then season 1 and 2 of Flash, and then you go to Supergirl, and then you come back to the Arrow, and then you go back to Flash, whatever it is.
I'd
So
enjoy that.
like Boba, Mando, Ahsoka, whatever other shows are being brought into this universe, kind of, make small cameos here and there. Oh, Din's gonna be in Boba for an episode or two. Boba could be in Mando for an episode or two, or so on and so forth. You know what I'm saying?
No, I 100% agree. And I think we have seen that Star Wars, regardless of, all the controversy of the sequel trilogy, which we've talked about a lot on the channel, it's clear that Star Wars, regardless of what side you're on with the sequel trilogy, Star Wars and Marvel are much better run than the DC universe. And I think that's where DC lost a lot of people, is it just got to be too much. It got to be too confusing. And I can understand that, because I watched 3 seasons of Arrow. I watched 2 seasons of Flash, but I didn't watch them as they were coming out. It just I had to go back and watch. And by that time you had to watch this here, this here, this here, this here, that I didn't have the time to research it. I didn't have time to look up the order and watch them all. So it just kind of made me fall off. And I don't think DC did it as well as Star Wars. So I guess my main point is, I think Star Wars will be able to do it to where they won't lose fans. You're always going to have Star Wars fans bitching and moaning, always. That's
right.
That's how the fandom is. But we've said it countless times, the loudest voices in the fandom are the negative ones. So, that for every 10 people just complaining about every aspect of the Book of Boba Fett, there's 100,000 people on Twitter that absolutely love it. Because I'm not going to sit there and tweet every day and argue with people on social media about trying to defend the Book of Boba Fett. I like it. I pay attention to the tweets of people that like it as well. Unfortunately, you see so many arguments and just annoying ass takes that, it starts to imprint in your mind that that's how the fandom is. And to a point it is, but there's a lot more good than bad. So, I think Star Wars will be able to do that whole sequence that you were talking about very well.
No, I'm right there with you. I agree. Specifically, like, I think the reason DC hasn't had quite as much success, and obviously the people that like it really like it, and I think it goes the same for the MCU and Star Wars. And why I think it's a bigger audience is because the MCU and Star Wars has locked down the faithful. And by that, I mean, people are obsessed with the MCU. People have been obsessed with Star Wars since the 70s. Okay. So even the people that struggle to stay up to date with what's happening in the MCU or in Star Wars, the people that are getting confused by the shows, getting confused with the multiverse, whatever, they're going to stick through it because they love the Infinity Saga. They love the original trilogy or the prequels, whatever it is. They love it so much that they're going to get through and not lose interest in these confusing times of the movies because they love it and they want to see it through to the end. As where I'm personally not as attached to DC. So if I don't like the first 2 seasons and there's 6 seasons, I'm just not going to finish it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's, nothing against people that like it. If you like it, awesome. I'm so happy for you. It's just not my personal cup of tea.
And what the sad part about it is that everything that I have watched from DC, I thoroughly enjoy.
I love The Flash. The Flash is my favorite DC.
I like I've seen, like I said, 2 episodes of The Flash, 2 seasons of The Flash, 3 of Arrow, and all of the movies except the Snyder Cut. I really enjoy everything. Do I think they're as good as Marvel? No. But it's awesome seeing. How can you not like Superman? How can you not enjoy Batman? Right. I don't hate DC whatsoever. I don't dislike DC. I just don't respect Warner Brothers at all. I think
right.
I just don't respect how they're going about everything. And I honestly just feel super bad for DC fans because, dude, DC is right up there with Marvel when you think of their characters and the comic universe. Like, it's right up there. When it comes to the two cinematic universes, Marvel blows it out of the water in almost every category. It really does. But I feel super bad for DC fans because they deserve so much better. They deserve to see their Batman, their Superman, Aquaman, they deserve to see them leave the universe with respect and dignity, like we saw Cap and Iron Man leave, you know? Right. So that's got to be a bad taste in their mouth that they won't see Ben Affleck and what's the guy that
they won't see Henry Cavill.
They won't. Not only are they not going to see them again, the last time they did see them was in the Snyder Cut, where they were, from what I've heard, badass, and it could lead to so much more, but they're choosing not to. And now they're just done with the
It's so funny. DC fans are going to see Ben Affleck and Henry Cavill in the MCU before they see him in the DCU
possibly
again.
They might see them
DCEU, sorry.
No, I get it. They might spend more time in Marvel. Depending on what characters they are, they might spend more time in the MCU than they did in the DCEU.
That's wild. And Henry Cavill was a great Superman. Ben Affleck was a good Batman.
Exactly.
Henry Cavill was a great Superman. I saw a meme the other day, and it was like, what if the MCU saw this scene and it was Thanos being brought down in a bubble, and it was like Iron Man, Thor, and Cap looking up at him, and it was like, but then the Warner Brothers comes in and scraps it and starts over. Like, what if that would have happened? We were introduced to Thanos and he's able to snap away half of existence, and then they're like, let's start over. I would have been pissed.
That's why I have no respect for the company.
Right.
I just don't. But we got a little off track on Boba. So we were talking about Mando. I think it's going to be awesome. I think we'll see him next week. If not, we'll see him the week after. But another thing that I forgot about through this whole series is we first met Fennec Shand in season 1 of The Mandalorian. We saw her again in season 2. And then it was cool to see her in The Bad Batch. The main character, one of the main characters of The Bad Batch was Omega. Boba Fett's perfect clone. Boba Fett's sister, not genetically altered. So she's going to grow up the exact same way. Well, not the exact same. I mean, she's going to grow up in the same way that Boba Fett was able to grow up without.
They're technically the same person.
They are. She is his perfect clone. So you think of Fennec Shand spent time with Boba's sister. So I wonder if she knew that Omega was a clone, and if she did, if she's put those, I wonder if she knows Boba Fett's a clone, and if she knows both of them are clones, if she's put those pieces together. So I think
I'd hope so.
Yeah, she seems.
I would hope so.
It's just, is it known that Boba Fett is a clone? Like, is it super known by everybody? Obviously. Obviously plenty of people know.
Let's go from the perspective of the random person that might exist in the Star Wars universe. Okay. Originally, Boba Fett was not a clone, right? It wasn't until in the original trilogy.
Oh no.
Boba
in the
Fett
original
was just a character, right?
Yeah.
So let's look at it from that perspective. People that existed in the Star Wars universe at the time of the original trilogy, if he was not intended to be a clone, odds are they don't know he's a clone. Right? So to the grand person, a lot of people don't even know about the Clone Wars. So why would they know about clones existing? You know?
Yeah. I don't that's
at that point in Star Wars history, the Clone Wars, the Jedi, the Sith, all of that is like fairy tales.
You also look back at Boba's line when they say they might recognize my face. And I'm sure, he said that because he's going into Empire territory. They know damn well clones.
What clones are.
But he said it to Din, which that could be a throwaway line as a joke meant for us, which that's how we took it, obviously. But I wonder if Din knew he was talking about what he was talking about, because he didn't respond, but he also didn't question it,
I'm curious if Din did know he was a clone, and maybe that was also part of the reason why he didn't believe Boba when he said he was of Mandalorian descent right away.
That could be.
I don't know.
Going back though, Fennec has spent time with a lot of time with Boba Fett, and she spent some time with Omega. So it would be just super interesting to see Omega pop up in this show, in this series at some point. And I don't know what capacity it would be. We have no clue. We don't even know if she's alive,
Right.
But the fans loved her. I kind of see her the way that fans loved Ahsoka. They didn't love Ahsoka at first, but the way fans love Ahsoka now, she's kind of precious in the fandom.
Have you seen the fan cast of, forget her name, but she played Brienne of Tarth in Game of Thrones.
Gwendolyn Christie.
Yep.
But she's already in Star Wars.
Phasma.
But, yeah.
No, duh. I don't know why I didn't just say that.
Yeah. No, yeah, I know. Right. But she was also, her face was covered. So, she might've played both characters.
They could do it.
They could.
Maybe Phasma's a clone. Or
no, she's not a clone.
No,
she has a book saying,
right.
No, yeah, we have her backstory.
Right. That was bad take.
It's all good.
No, you're right. You're 100% right.
Don't clip that. Leave it in.
Yeah.
We make mistakes sometimes.
We're
not
mistakes.
perfect.
Hey, listen. No, I'm perfect. What do you mean I'm perfect?
I'm
just kidding.
It'd be cool to see Omega though. We already know.
I agree.
We're gonna see Din. It's very heavily rumored that we're going to see Han Solo, which means we might see Chewie, which means we might see Luke and Leia. Those are obviously fanboy dreaming, but those are possible. But we could see Cad Bane, we could see Dengar, Bosk. But out of all of them, I think for people who have seen the Bad Batch, I think it would be super interesting to see Omega in this kind of role.
What are the chances of this happening? Obviously, we know Omega's a good person, right?
If she's not,
from what we've seen,
yeah.
Right. At least when she's young, who knows what has happened in the years.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just saw where you were going with it, and I started to chip in. So I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. So let's fast forward, however many years later it is, 30-ish years or so.
I'd say it's about 30 years.
Okay. So with whatever's happened in the past 30 years, odds are Omega's alive, because I don't think they would have introduced her and left like a huge cliffhanger with her like that if she wasn't going to end up being an important character. So let's just say 30 years go by. What do you think the chances are?
Return of the Jedi is 4 ABY, which means all of this is about 5 years after that. So this is about 30 years later. She's about 10 years old. So she'd be about 40 years old. Okay, arguably, so she'd be about the same age as Boba.
Yeah. So that brings up my point. What if Omega shows up to challenge Boba for his armor? Because she would technically have as much right to it as he does. Yeah. If she's another genetically perfect clone, she has the right to it. She's technically Jango's daughter.
I get that. Yeah. I mean, that could be the case. Yeah. That'd be an interesting way to take it.
I know we talked about it, but would she be considered Mandalorian at that point or no?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Unless she got armor, took up like the creed and practiced their religion, then I think not. But if she wanted to do that, I think she deserves the right to choose to do so and be accepted as a Mandalorian.
Yeah, it's kind of the same with the Darksaber. If you have a right to it and you challenge it and you win, you have a right to the throne. Dude, we're gonna see Din coming and slinging the Darksaber around, and he still has his Beskar staff. At this point. What?
Unless he's already done something about it at this point.
Well, Book of Boba Fett.
Do you think he still has it?
It's like right after.
It's like right after, yeah.
So I don't think.
Do you think we could see them go to Mandalore to find him?
I think yes, I do think it's a possibility.
That'd be sick.
What if this involves Mando a lot more than we thought it did?
Dude, do you think there's a chance we could see Ahsoka in it?
No.
You don't think so? Dude, how cool would it be if they went to Mandalore and either Din or Bo-Katan or someone there is talking about, the Siege of Mandalore and like
Mhm.
trying to rebuild the planet or whatever. And it goes to flashbacks of the Siege of Mandalore and just
It
like
could.
everything that happened. They don't have to show Ahsoka or anything like that, but they could show clones and Mandalorians fighting and stuff. I think that'd be so dope.
It would 100%. We always thought up until this point that this animosity or possible animosity between Bo-Katan and Din would play out in The Mandalorian. What if we see the after effects from Mandalorian season 2 in Book of Boba Fett, and that leads into Mando season 3 in a way? Because I feel like if we do see Din, I think there's a good chance we'll see Bo-Katan too, because I don't think she's letting Din go until they figure out the whole Darksaber situation.
Yeah, no, I mean, she wants, that's the only thing she wants.
That is,
and now he has it. So he's kind of her enemy in a way now. Like, I don't think she would kill him or anything like that.
What if they fall in love or something?
I don't see that happening.
No.
Muñeño?
Chupapi Muñeño.
Papi Muñeño? No.
Yeah, I don't see it, but like maybe she tries to seduce him for the Darksaber.
I don't know, man.
I don't know. They're either fighting or they're loving.
Her vibe since she was a Mandalorian has been kind of off, and
I like her. Well, she hasn't been a thing since Mandalorian though.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, in Mando,
yeah.
like I didn't trust her completely. Like there's a little bit of shade in there.
Of course.
So,
yeah, man. So do you have anything else?
Obviously, we're getting more answers as far as what direction the show is going. It's obviously to at least season 1 is going to be about him like really establishing Tatooine and fixing that. But after that, man, who knows? Because it's not confirmed to have a season 2, is it? But odds are
I think there is a season 2.
Is there?
Yeah.
It's gonna be cool because it in the timeline, it's gonna be Mando season 1 and 2, Boba 2, Mando 3, Boba 4. Like it's gonna like just stack.
It's a book, man. There's a reason why I don't know. There's a reason these things are called chapters right now.
Chapters, 100%.
Yeah. All right, man. But yeah, that's all I have. We talked about a lot on our review. So if you want to go check that out, feel free. Yeah, that's all I have on Book of Boba and Multiverse of Madness. If you have anything else.
No, man, I'm personally good. I think we got it all out there, and now it's just time to wait.
Yes, sir. All right, yeah. So I'm good too. So everybody, thank you very much for tuning in. I had a lot of fun talking about all this stuff. It's always great talking Marvel and Star Wars with you nerds. So thank you for tuning in. Don't forget that if you're watching this on Friday the 21st, today, we also dropped a Spider-Man Funko Pop list. It's Funko Pops we need from Spider-Man No Way Home. This is part 3 in a 4-part video. We had the first 2 parts out already, so go check those out. They are some awesome pops. So you have to check out part 3 and then part 4 next week. But that's all we have for you. And until next time, guys, may the Force be with you.
Remember, the Force will be with you, always.